All right, guys. So I stumbled across this video on the internet that I cannot believe happened, but it actually did happen. And I want to talk about it because I think that this right here might be one of the most ridiculous Karen incidents I've ever seen in my life. This is peak Karenicity, okay? It just is. As a woman who happens to be black, and that is relevant to the story here, gets upset because a veteran brought his dog into a restaurant, and the dog is one of these PTSD dogs because, again, he's a veteran, and she literally loses her mind. Take a look.
A customer freaks out after she sees a dog in the restaurant where she is eating dinner.
It's disgusting to have an animal inside of a public restaurant.
But that's not any dog. You can see the Great Dane is wearing a vest that reads PTSD service dog. The Great Dane's master is a military veteran.
He's alive because he fought for our country.
Congratulations! My husband, Dad, fought for the country.
So did he.
What's your
That's
point?
why he has a
So
dog.
what? It's still nasty to me.
The customer walks out, but returns and the argument continues.
It's my opinion, and it's not going to change.
Your opinion
You
should
ain't going to
matter.
change it. You. None of y'all going to change it. I think it's gross.
My first reaction was making sure nobody got hurt.
I spoke to the vet in the video, retired Master Sergeant Bill Austin, who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was at the Delaware seafood restaurant with his wife, Janet, and friends, and his service dog, JP.
Were you shocked by her reaction?
Yes.
Yeah, we've never been screamed at like that. I mean, we've had people ask us questions or, comments about the dog because he's so big, but we've never had anybody get in our face and just scream at us.
The angry customer, identified as Ciara Miller, told a local newspaper the video does not tell the whole story. She says she got upset because the dog's backside got way too close to her. She also says she was subjected to racial slurs.
I'm leaving because the food is nasty and there's a dog.
Now she says that she heard racial slurs. What do you say?
Nobody said anything racial in nature. We had a mixed race party in there.
It's disgusting to have an animal inside of a public restaurant.
Yeah, so she went off. She lost her mind over a veteran bringing his service dog, not a regular dog, okay? A service dog, a trained dog into a restaurant. She just simply loses it, right? Because she thinks that the dog is nasty and having the dog in a restaurant is nasty. Now, me personally, dogs, generally should stay out of areas where there are food, right? For example, like the kitchen and stuff like that, especially if you got a real big dog that can climb over the counter, lick stuff, get all over the place, stuff like that. However, this is not that, right? And this ain't even going to get close to that because this is a trained dog, right? Most of the time, these service dogs, they just chill, right? They literally get on the floor, they lay down, and they chill. They don't do anything. They don't jump on the table. They don't try to eat any food. They don't do any of that. These dogs are trained to trade, right? So with that being said, that dog literally has nothing to do with this woman. And the fact this woman gets freaked out over the dog, it's being told, okay, no, this is not a regular dog. This is a service dog, and still does not care, right? Especially considering the fact that dog literally has no chance of interacting with her at all, coming near her food, going in the kitchen, doing anything that's going to affect her. Again, just shows you how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs insane some people are, right? She is nuts, right? It's crazy. Not only is she nuts, she is just inconsiderate and disrespectful and ungrateful for the service of our veterans, okay? Because you should have some understanding and some sympathy for the fact that this man served overseas for us, for you, and hey, you know what? He came back. He paid the price, but he came back and he had to be given a dog because he got post-traumatic stress disorder. And now the dog is an integral part of his life. The dog is basically like one and the same with him. Okay, that's how important these dogs are. But again, she doesn't care, as if this veteran shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere, right? In her world, he shouldn't be allowed to eat at any restaurant because dogs in restaurants are just by default nasty to her. Doesn't matter if the dog is trained. Doesn't matter if the dog realistically is going to come nowhere near her food or the kitchen or anything like that. Again, so much so that she has to make a scene like this. And the worst part about this, guys, the worst part is that even though she got caught on camera telling us exactly why she is upset, she had the audacity, right? The audacity to play the race card after being called out for what everybody in their right mind can see was just completely terrible, out of line behavior. And when she's getting called out about this, she again doubles down on the fact that, hey, no, I was called a racial slur. Somebody said something to me racial, instead of just owning up to it. Take a look.
She's defending herself.
I don't have any regrets because I felt like I reacted based on how I was treated.
Ciara Miller says the video doesn't tell the whole story. She claims that some restaurant employees and customers were yelling at her, and that's why she got so loud.
6 or 7 other people would just start jumping in and just start going back and forth and coming at me, making derogatory statements, racial slurs.
Let's be honest, I mean, this is a service dog that you're complaining about, and so it just doesn't look good on you.
This wasn't ever even about the dog per se or the veteran himself. You know, when his wife approached me, she made it about that. You know, I was simply walking out the door because I couldn't eat in front of an animal.
It doesn't sound like you're very understanding of this service dog and the needs that this vet has.
That's 100% incorrect. As I have an uncle that was in the military who suffered from PTSD, so I'm very aware of, you know, service dogs and their position and what their rights and what they're allowed.
The veteran is retired Master Sergeant Bill Austin, who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was at the Delaware seafood restaurant with his wife Janet and friends and his service dog JP. Were there any racial slurs thrown? She still insists that was the case.
Now, that's one thing that I don't like is the allegations that we used racial slurs. I don't think that's fair. And I really hope that something positive comes out of this. Number one and foremost, even when we get angry, we should still try to treat people with respect.
I think it's gross.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, in the video, there were no racial slurs. Okay. And if there was, in fact, a racial slur being used, you would think that that would have been what the actual yelling would have been about, right? If somebody calls you a racial slur and you're saying that I got crazy because somebody called me a racial slur, then I think that would have showed up on video. But the only thing that you were complaining about on video is the veteran and his dog, right? That's what she's complaining about. But again, it's so hilarious how when you get called out on your BS, instead of just owning up and just giving an apology and say, hey, you know what, I freaked out. You know, I just don't like dogs in restaurants, but, you know, I definitely was not considerate of the fact that this veteran has needs and this dog helps the veteran meet his needs. I am sorry. I am truly, truly sorry. That's what she should have said. No apologies. Race card, right? He might be a racist, right? People in the restaurant are racist. That's why they're coming after me. Not because of the stuff that you've seen on video, not because of that, not because of being inconsiderate, because they're racist, right? Again, this is the shield that people try to use today to try to avoid taking responsibility for anything. This is what they do. All you gotta do is just throw the race card. Oh no, you can't criticize me because I'm black. Right? I'm black. You can't say anything to me. I'm a so-called woman of color. You're a racist? You're a sexist? Okay? Again, instead of just owning up to it. But again, this is what happens when you have a culture that has no accountability. When you teach people that nothing's your fault, everything is the white man's fault, everything is the government's fault, everything is the system's fault. Nothing that you do, none of your actions actually have an effect on your life. Right. So therefore, if you get mad and upset about something, even if on camera it shows that, you know, you're the one that's the aggressor here, you're the one that's going crazy for no reason here. Don't worry. It's not your fault. It is the white man's fault, the veteran with the dog, because he's automatically racist, regardless of whether or not you actually heard a slur. Again, that's how ridiculous it is. Right. That's how ridiculous it is. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, if the woman was, again, freaked out by the dog, then she should have just left. She should have just left and been done with it. That's all you got to do. What you don't do is that you don't throw a tirade about it. And then once you get called out on the fact that you were inconsiderate of this veteran and his dog, accused them of being racist, which is even worse, right? That's even worse. That makes it even worse. Again, man, these type of stories to me are absolutely hilarious because, again, it shows you how we've incentivized certain people in society to simply not take accountability for anything, because you can just play the race card and then voila, you take no responsibility, right? It's not your fault. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.